Today I'm going to show you how to make a vegetable stock using vegetable scraps. You will need 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil, 1 onion, 4 garlic cloves, and then I have collected the vegetable scraps from the week of cooking. So it's basically, vegetable scraps are the scraps that you can still eat, you just kind of don't want to, so like carrot peelings, potato peelings, the tops of the leeks, the onion skins, so like the brown onion skins that you wouldn't want to eat, tops of peppers. There's a lot of Brussels sprouts leaves in there, so I did a harvest of the Brussels sprouts. So the scraps are basically the stuff that you can eat, so it's still got to be clean. So like with the Brussels sprouts, when I harvested them, the outer layers that were quite dirty or slightly gone off, straight in the compost bin. So it's still food that is okay to eat, but you wouldn't necessarily want to eat it, you know, so like the outer layers and stuff. So like the leek tops, I did take part in the end and give them a good wash as well to make sure all the dirt is out. If you don't have as much vegetable scraps as we do in a week, you can pop a tub in the freezer and just keep freezing your vegetable scraps until you've got enough. I just had enough vegetable scraps to fill the saucepan I was using. So it's not an exact amount. You can, if you've only got a little bit, you can just use a little bit. It's whatever you've got. If you don't have vegetable scraps, you can just replace it for vegetables. So you can just, in the end, I did end up adding a carrot to it because I was slightly concerned I hadn't got enough in there. So yeah, it's just a load of vegetable scraps that you've got round. And then I also retained the water from boiling the Brussels sprouts for where I blanched them to freeze them. So if you've done your Sunday dinner and you've got your vegetable water left over and you're planning to do your stock within a day or so, keep the vegetable water because that's still got really nice nutrients and everything in it, so that's always good to pop in. If you don't have that, again, don't worry about it, we'll just be using plain water to top up anyway, so you can just use that. So firstly, we want to chop up our onions. So I'm retaining the brown skins, popping that straight in the scraps box because that will be going in. But for the first part of the recipe, we just want the actual onion itself. So we'll just be chopping that up. And then with the garlic cloves, I have just quartered them with the skins on. Then in a saucepan over a low heat, add your vegetable oil, your onions and your garlic, and sweat them for about 5 minutes. Then you want to add those vegetable scraps. So I've just pushed mine down to make sure they sit in the saucepan. Again, it's not a weight amount that I use for them, I just put enough in there that they actually fill the saucepan. Then I've just added the water that I retained from boiling my Brussels sprouts. And then we're going to just top up with cold water, so then the water completely covers all the vegetable scraps. Then you want to turn the heat up slightly and bring that up to a rolling boil. And then once it's at a rolling boil, you want to turn the heat down, pop a lid on your saucepan and leave it to simmer for 30 minutes. Then once it's simmered for 30 minutes, we then need to strain out all the vegetable scraps. So I'm just using a sieve over a bowl and just gently putting all the vegetable scraps in, making sure the scraps don't go into the bowl underneath. And then just strain your liquid off as much as you possibly can. And then you have vegetable stock to use in other recipes like soup. If you are thinking of making a soup with your vegetable stock, I will link down below the playlist to the soups that I've made on the channel if you fancy making one of those. So there you have it. That's how you make vegetable stock from scraps.